Great evening, great Thursday evening, everyone. Tis Catherine Beasley here with day 4 of our self series that we are putting on. I am putting on that you are kind enough to join me for. And so today I want to talk about self preservation. And really, for me, I call it self preservation, which is good, but it's really about setting boundaries and how to look at that, how to implement them, even when you're afraid to do so, even when you don't feel strong enough to do so, just the importance of doing so. So even if you aren't able to set them for yourselves now, just start thinking about why it's important for you to set those boundaries. And it does fall within self-preservation, because the moment that you do set those boundaries, you'll start to see a shift in how people respond to you and react to you. And it may not feel so good when they have those reactions to you setting boundaries for yourself, but you'll also feel a shift in how you care for yourself, how you think about yourself, how your life is, and the energy around you when you set certain boundaries. So first and foremost, it is that we always have to understand that we teach people how to treat us, and what we allow them to say to us, about us, around us, even if it's not about us, is letting them understand or giving them permission to be that way. So you always want to make sure that you are teaching people the right way to treat you, the way that you want to be treated, and that you'll stand up for yourself when you aren't hearing things come and being treated the way that you want to be treated by people. Being able to stand up for yourself enough to say, nope, I'm not going to accept that, and be willing to not have a person's presence in your life anymore if they don't respect that, is one of the things that's kind of hard about setting boundaries and performing these self-preservation activities. And so this is why maybe just building into it may be what it is, but knowing what it is that you want for yourself is key. So that self-awareness, self-examination activities that we talked about the first couple of days will always come into play with pretty much everything that we're talking about throughout the month. But when you have dictated or decided what it is that you want for yourself, then you can teach people how to fit into your world instead of you fitting into everyone's world, or you allowing people to put their thoughts, plans for you into play because you didn't have any for yourself. And the key is always that if you don't make a plan for yourself, someone else will, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your love life, or anything like that. So setting boundaries, knowing what you will and will not accept, expressing that with people, right? You can feel a certain type of way, but you can't be upset with people really when you haven't quite expressed to them that how they treat you, what they say, how they say things to you, makes you feel what, right? So when people don't know what it is that triggers you, right? How it is that, or how what they say and what they do affect you, then they don't even know that they need to make a change. So you want to set a boundary for yourself and dictate what it is that you will and will not accept, what it is that you want for life. But you have to be willing to communicate with people and let them know what it is that you expect from them moving forward, right? If you don't say it, they don't know it. And as women, I'm going to talk about us for a little bit. We tend to want people to know things instead of saying what it is that we want, telling them what we want them to do, etc. So in this instance, when you really are trying to teach people how to treat you the right way, you have to be willing to speak to them and communicate with them that information. So you have to know what it is that you want, what you're willing to accept, how you want to be treated, and then you have to be willing to tell people how you wish to be treated, and then stand on it, right? When you set a boundary, then you also have to stand behind it, which means that maybe you lose a friend or you deal with someone less often, right? Because they are violating that boundary, and now you have to stand up for yourself and not allow them to get away with that. And if that means you need to move away from them a little bit, spend less time with them, then that's what you do. But if you haven't taken the time to, one, understand what's what it is that drives you and what you need, and two, express that to people. Then when you set that boundary, you give them an opportunity to work within that boundary, or to not do so and be willing to do whatever you have to do after that to enforce it, right? A dog with no bite is not a dog. Nah, it's a dog, but you're not scared of it, right? You're going to look at it and be like, yeah, whatever, right? So when you set a boundary for yourself and people infringe upon that, you also have to be willing to do what you need to do to preserve yourself and remove yourself from certain situations. So that's just, and all of these are really just little bit of insight into certain areas of self that we want to start to look at and start to build up. And we'll see, I will have a group that I'm putting together that will discuss these in more detail, and also to invite you guys, as I do here, to give me some feedback, to have a conversation about what it is that I'm saying, because obviously I'm spending the time to do it, so I think it's important, but I want to hear whether it's important to you and how setting boundaries for you has gone. Have you been able to set boundaries? Have you tried it and it's failed? Has it been good for you? What changes came about because of it? Just because I want to know how it impacts you all the same way that I'm telling you all about it, and how it impacts me. And for me, setting boundaries has been huge, right? I have a hard time saying no to people. I am a people pleaser, and I am working on recovering from that disease, if we want to call it such. And so setting boundaries for me is one of the things that my good friend Debbie constantly tries to get me to do, because she knows that I tend to go so far to the left in helping people that it leaves me on empty. It leaves me feeling left out and not well cared for. So setting boundaries is something that I struggle with often, and in certain instances I have very hard lines, and it's fine, but in other areas that line just absolutely disappears, and then I am stuck feeling some kind of way thereafter. So for me, self-preservation in this boundary discussion is really personal in that regard. What's your experience with that? Has it been easy for you to set boundaries and see people agree with them, or has it been how has it been for you to have set those boundaries and have people either adhere to them and respect them or not? And what did you do? Let me know. And hey, my friends, I love y'all all for joining me. And I look forward to hearing your responses to what we say. Right. No issue saying no. Patricia, I'm going to get like you, girl. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.